Hi, Elise Dewsberry here once again, and today I want to pose a question to you. As you look at the musical you're working on, why are you telling this story, and why are you telling it now? I think those are a couple of really important questions to ask yourself, because at the end of the day, you're going to have to try to sell this musical to a producer, to an artistic director, to an audience to buy tickets. You're going to have to get somebody interested in the story that you're telling. So you need to know why it's interesting to you and why is it interesting now. So it doesn't matter, I don't think, whether you're writing a very serious, dramatic piece or whether you're writing a comic piece of fluff that you think will just be a lot of fun. I still think you need to ask those questions because it has to be important to you. Something about the story has to be meaningful to you for you to want to tell this story. Why are you telling this story? And can you put it into terms that are going to make somebody else just as interested as you are? Never mind a producer or an audience member. You might need to be just selling a collaborator. You're a book writer trying to find a lyricist or a composer or something like that. You're trying to sell somebody on your idea. So you need to be thinking about why is it important to you to tell this particular story. And then you also need to think a corollary. Why is it important now? Does it have some kind of relevance to what's going on in the world today? And it can be a piece that's set, in biblical times, but it can still have relevance today. In fact, I think sometimes telling a story that is relevant to today and using some different time period to do it is often a very effective way to get to an audience, because they're able to, they don't feel so much like they're being preached at. And yet they're able to feel the resonances and apply them on their own, so they don't feel like they're being taught a lesson. They feel like they are getting the lesson themselves from the story that's being told. So, but I really think you need to stop and think. People send me new musicals all the time, and there's a lot of different ideas out there. You'll hear people say that every idea has already been written. That might be true, but the way you write it is going to be different from the way anyone else will write it, even if it's a basic storyline that's already been told. But sometimes when musicals come across my desk, I go, "Oh, this is a really interesting idea," and other times I don't. Other times I go, "Okay, I guess if this is the story you want to tell." What makes that difference? It's if there's, again, what are you trying to say? You have to have something. You can't just go, "Oh, this is an interesting story, I think I'll tell this." It's not, maybe that's it. Maybe it's never just about the story. It has to be about what you want to say with the story. And this goes right back to my first vlog about theme. What is it that you think this story has to offer to people that's going to change their lives, lighten their lives, darken their lives, have an effect on them, some impact? So it can't just be an interesting story or a funny story or a quirky story. It can be all of those things. It can't be just that. It has to also be something that you want to say. So give yourself, take a look at any of the ideas you're considering and think, which ones do you really feel strongly about, that this is a story you must tell, and you must tell it now? And then look at the story and figure out, how can you infuse the story with that passion that you have for telling the story? Because there are tons of musicals out there and tons of people writing them. So the one major thing that's going to make your show different or better is not actually the story itself. Sometimes people will send me something and say, "Don't tell anybody. I think this is a great idea. Don't tell anybody about it because they'll steal it from me." That doesn't matter. It's not about the idea. It's about what you want to say with the idea. That's what's going to make it yours. That's what's going to make it different from anybody else, even if they're working in a very similar arena. It's about what you're trying to say and how powerfully you say it and how passionately you feel about it. So give that a little bit of thought. Why are you telling this story, and why are you telling it now? Answer those questions, and then make sure all of that becomes a part of the story that you're writing. And we'll see you next time.